Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of PKM Weekly. So this week we've got the F1 back, and what a race in Melbourne it was. So if anyone missed it, do check out the highlights. Impressive. Lots going on. But anyway, before that, let's get into PKM Weekly and see what's in store for us this week. So first up, Logseq. So desktop app, is it nearly there? So there was an update in the Discord by Tiensen, and they provided some updates of what's going on. So a user asked him when can we expect something on the DB version in terms of a desktop app, and Tiensen responded there's a few to-dos that they want to do before they release it, and those to-dos include performance improvements, so start time and large tables. They just want to get this right before they release anything. They want to include Markdown and EDN export, so this should be done in the next few weeks. Currently you can't export it apart from an SQL and a transit file, so not that useful, but hopefully with Markdown and EDN export it's going to be a lot more useful. And then just more tests to ensure that there's no bugs that are inputted once they merge the branches. So it is getting there, and they are working on it, so can't wait for that to be released and test it out. Danzu, they posted an update of what's going on in the DB version. So what the team have done on the past week is they've bulk performance improvements or additions. So now you can add tasks, properties, copy, delete, various different blocks at the one time. So if you have 4 blocks, you can click here and that will add tags. You can copy them, set properties or unset properties, and delete. So that's a great addition for bulk performance or bulk actions. And then also they've brought templates back, so we can now complete a template on an ad hoc pages or automatically by assigning a tag to it. So that's great because it just basically brings in all of your properties and things to the templates in a nice and easy way. And if you want to check out how some of these work, do check out Danzu's Twitter page because he does provide a very brief video of how it happens with the bulk actions and the templates as well. So definitely do check out his Twitter and do follow him if you're a Logseq fan because he does post a lot of stuff. So thank you, Danzu, for that. And then next up is Supasend. So this is a user that used to use Bear and Logseq together, but then just got frustrated and wanted to use a one app solution for all of it. So he basically created this tiny little app called Supasend that basically allows you to capture notes with attachments all from one place. So you can create a new note, create or append entries in the daily journal, or append notes in any specific document within Logseq. So if you're interested, do check it out. It is for iOS only at the moment, but I'm sure there are plans for more systems and OSs. And if you're interested, do check it out here on the Reddit page where they basically go in a lot more details with a few more visuals of how it works and some videos. So looking forward to testing out that in the week ahead. And then Brian, what they did is they hooked up Logseq and Anthropic Claude. So again, another Twitter one, we can just go here. So you can chat with it, search with it, create and edit Logseq notes within the Claude desktop app directly. So do check this video out and do check a few more of his posts in the thread because he does go through it of how it works. I just don't know from a privacy point of view of what happens with the notes. Do they get uploaded to the Claude servers or not? But I would guess yes. So if that's one of your concerns, there might be something more that needs to be done. Capacities, that's up next. So recreating Stefan's daily note template. So if you're interested in Stefan's daily note template, which include daily habits, daily planning and daily reflections, do check out this video by Beth and the team. And they basically talk you through and demo how you can set the page up or your daily note template up in a similar way that Stefan does. Even if you're not interested in full how Stefan sets his up, it is useful because it does give you some ideas of what you can use for your own setup. So definitely worthwhile checking out this video. And then next up is lag and performance issues. So there's a few questions on Reddit and the Discord in the past week. So I've been watching Capacities closely and ready to make the swap, but there's a bit of performance issues and speed and reliability are a problem. So basically they're just asking what happens with it with large databases. Is it still slow? How's the loading? How's the search, etc., etc. And from rumblings in the Discord, the team are looking at huge performance updates, and this should be out for testing relatively soon. And hopefully the updates will bring all-round improvement for performance and should make working with large documents a lot better. So if you're one of these people that's struggling with the lag and the performance issues in Capacities, a bit of patience there, and it should be hopefully dealt with in due course. So Tana, they released versions 4.02, 4.03. Updated command line, so you can add open calendar for today in this particular workspace, show today for this particular workspace, compact full menus, improved icons, fixed issues, turning many nodes into checkboxes at the one time, and historical dates before 1890 were displayed with a one-off. And also there was a good few more updates, so do check it out in full in the changelog. And also they added in Sonnet 3.7, GPT 4.5 and 0.1, but just be aware that they are expensive models and they can eat through your AI credits quite quickly. So just use these ones with caution. And recurring tasks within Tana, so without the buttons. So if you're wondering how you can get recurring tasks without having a multitude of buttons within your Tana workspace, do check out this blog post here, where basically unlock the power of recurring tasks. So you've got the full description, as well as a video, and a lot of detail. So if you are visual or you prefer the write-ups, check it out because it's got a bit of both, and you can see how it works, how you can set it up, and testing and troubleshooting. So thank you for that, and looking forward to testing that one out. If you're interested in recurring tasks, please do as well. Obsidian, so OP's got a meeting on Monday, so I guess that's tomorrow, to basically implement IT, or a meeting with IT to implement Obsidian for a team of about 16 people. So, and they're just wondering a few tidbits from users, how they can basically convince the team, I guess. How will it be useful for the team to use Obsidian? Oops. How does conflict management works? Will I be able to run the vault locally or on the drive? Is the cloud 100% safe? How basically do I convince my IT team that it's safe to store all data? So if you're interested, or if you are going through something similar, do check out this post here on Reddit, because there are a number of comments, as you can see, that basically go through and explain, although the top comment is, it's not a good tool for collaboration. And I think from memory that is being worked on, the collaboration side of it, but for the time being, it is not quite there yet. So you do have multiplayer here. So if you are in that same boat, I'm not sure if it's worthwhile just waiting until the team develops the multiplayer natively or improves it. Up next is Obsidian RAG, Private AI or Cloud Power. So a video just going through of how you can implement RAG or LM Studios or Llama, Mystery, blah, 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 Copilot, Second Brain, basically have AI with your notes, either on a private or a cloud-based option. So do definitely check this video out if you're interested in having an AI interact with some of your notes. And then a couple of other points here, again on Twitter, which can't believe that Substack is so much subpar with Twitter links. Basically, Capano, he posted a couple of things. So checking out the speed of Obsidian, so you can see it is very fast. And this was absolutely a response to a new app which was posted just the other day, or upcoming app. So we'll check that out a little bit later. But you can see this app, how it works, and then Capano basically did something with Obsidian as well, just to show the speed of it. Although he has mentioned that he did tweak something, you just made a little tweak that will improve this in version 1.9, so you can use the scroll arrows, I think, would be my guess. And then they've also implemented a web clipper, so it now lets you save directly to .md files, so basically just allows you to use the web clipper a lot better. So great stuff from the Obsidian team as usual. I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming up, and especially this one here, the dynamic views. Can't wait for that one to be finally implemented. Appflowy, Appflowy Web, you can now embed videos and play them directly within a document, and AI chat is now available within the web app. You've got the product guide, which is basically set up using Appflowy, so if you didn't know how Appflowy worked, you can check it out from this Getting Started guide, and this is built using Appflowy, as you can see, powered by Appflowy, and you can see how the app generally works. So do check that out if you're on the fence about Appflowy, because it does have a lot of good things going for it. And then we'll go back somehow. YouTube channel. They've also launched a YouTube channel with lots of videos. So again, tutorials and release notes. Always with their release notes, they've got good videos and hints and tips of how and what the updates are. So do check that out. And then in the upcoming releases, they're hoping for AI writers and Ollama and Appflowy on macOS and Windows. Orca Note. So after 4 months of public testing, the devs, or the dev Seth Yuan, has announced it's officially time to release Orca Note in the wild. So he has implemented a few pricing structures. So free 0 up to 1,000 blocks, annual 39, so all features, 1 year of updates and free upgrades, or you can go for the lifetime, $99, all features, use forever, and 1 year of updates. I think the 1 year of updates for a lifetime should be a little bit more, given that it is called lifetime for a reason, but I think you can then add on, or you can buy another subscription to just get the updates at a particular moment in time. I feel like 2 years or 3 would be a lot more accommodating for a lifetime license. I mean, even Samsung does a couple of years of lifetime updates, so, but that's just something for Orca Note to just check out. And if you're currently on the free version, that's going to be valid until the 24th of March, and then it basically says please upgrade, and then you are bound by these pricing scenarios. Reasonable pricing, I have to say, apart from, as I say, the 1 year for lifetime updates seems a little bit harsh. Then the new app, this was Thymer, not sure. Basically an app for managing tasks, notes and planning for busy teams, so it's a smart editor. There is a lot on the website itself here, and you can see how it works. Very structured, similarly to, let's say, VS Code, and maybe how Dendron used to be structured. So you're basically working in an IDE, and you can do lots of things, tasks, journals, links, etc., etc. It is coming soon, so you have to sign up for for access, and you can see here outlining and editing combined. It's got the power of an IDE, big picture, multiplayer, should be live automatically or once it's released. So that's a big step up for those that are looking to use an app as a team and then organize anything in any way. So it seems that you can have various different views of your notes in various different ways. So definitely looking forward to trying this one out. And obviously it's privacy first, so it's end-to-end encrypted, it's offline first, but you can self-host it and the data is all yours. So if you haven't already done it, or you haven't seen this one, do check it out and do sign up for the private beta, because it's got a lot of things going for it, and I can't wait to test this one out. Last but not least, Rome Research. They did a live AI assistant, and that one is somewhere over here. So you can see a quick video of live AI, how it works. So search, GPT 4.0 search, and you can search various different things within your notes and within Rome Research, and it's going to pull it up with various different results. So a well worthwhile addition, and another one that's going down the AI route. So if you haven't already done so, or if you haven't seen it yet, do check it out, because Rome Research does have updates as well. So that was it for this week. Thank you very much for being here, and I shall see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.